In this video, I'm going to optimize this particular website using T software, and we're going to see how we can improve conversions on this particular website. So I'm going to log into the dashboard for the T software report, and the first thing that I want to look at, and we're looking at the date range for almost a month. Today is September 25th, so we're almost at the end of the month. The first thing I want to look at is how many potential customers we had that we missed versus how many customers we actually got in the past 30 days. So we can see that our total traffic is 2,500 people, and there's more because it's 2,500 plus the suspicious ones, which we need to investigate why they're being triggered as suspicious. But ultimately, we have 2,500 people that are probably not interested to buy, so we should see why we're even getting them in the first place. But the focus in this video is going to be on this one here, which is the potential customers. So these are the people that should have bought the product and did not for some reason. It's huge. 325 potentials over the past 30 days versus 27 that came through at the end of the day. So if we actually do the math, we are converting about 8% of the potential customers into actual customers, and that's pretty low. Usually you're supposed to be converting at least 30% of the potential customers. So out of 325 people, we should see at least about 100 orders. So we have a lot of room to grow to see what's going on. So now that we identify that there's definitely potential, what can we do about it? So the first thing we want to do is we want to see the issues. The issues are automatically detected, assuming that you have T properly configured. So if you're using a software like Shopping Cart Elite, it's configured for you by default. If you're installing T on a different e-commerce platform, then you would need to work with our team to make sure it's configured properly. But assuming that it is configured, the issues are going to be detected based on your visitor activities. So if we're going to just shut down a bunch of these and just go one by one, we can see what's going on. So out of the past month, and by the way, the issue will trigger if the individual is a potential, did not convert into a customer, and one of the reasons why T thinks he didn't convert was because of this issue. So this is what it means. So here it says that this individual abandoned the registration page. We're going to go through the registration page in a minute, and we're going to see what we can improve. But you can see that it's a pretty steady flow. It's not like there was a spike of abandoned registration and that's it. So, here and there, we can see that it's happening every other day. Sometimes it happens more often, but it's definitely a problem and definitely something that can easily be fixed. Now, if you want to know exactly all the possible scenarios of what can be fixed and how it can be fixed, you could go to our website, which is tsoftware.com, and under videos, we have a section called Do It Yourself. And if you click on Do It Yourself, if you click on the Read More section, you're going to be able to go and figure out how to fix some of the problems that you can experience in the search result or product pages or checkout and so on. Let's go through the website and we can experience as if we are the actual customer. So let's say I want to buy this particular product, and we're going to just choose a part number, add it to the cart. So we're now at the upsell page. We're going to say I want to proceed. We're now at the shopping cart page, and we're going to say proceed again because we want to, check out. And this is the page where people leave. Now, usually, if you have your guest checkout turned off, then that could be a potential issue. In this particular case, guest checkout is on. So here we're basically saying you should register first, then you're going to give us your billing info, your shipping info, and then you're going to confirm your order. So at this point, these individuals, they leave for some reason. Now, without jumping into assumptions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the details section just to take a look at some of the behaviors that those individuals did which abandoned the registration. So I'm going to say, show me all of the ones that abandoned the registration. And let's just take a look at exactly what they did. What did they do? So They went to a product, they were looking at it, they decided, hey, this is a good idea to buy it. They add it to the cart, press login, and leave, right? Exactly what I did. Let's look at another one, because maybe there is a different problem. Who knows? Maybe there's some other issue. Found the product, added to cart. Then they said, we want to check out, and they left. So it looks like two reasons why this could happen. Reason number one is they don't trust this particular site, or they feel like they don't know if they want to give the information up. One of the things we could do is I can double click on this, and it's going to render me a screenshot, so I can actually see approximately what he did with his mouse before advising what can be done in this particular situation. So once the screenshot renders, we'll be able to see. So looking at the screenshot, it seems like they did not attempt to even click on anything or fill anything out. So this tells me that the market that buys this product is either older, that doesn't want to go through the steps of filling out the forms, they just want to place the order and just buy it. And usually the problem can be solved if we have other ways of contacting the individual. So if there was potentially a live chat or a phone number or some call to action besides filling out a form, hey, you want to place an order, just give us a call, this would solve the problem. So here is what I would recommend for this particular client to do. I'm going to make a little screenshot here. And I'm going to say that for this particular page, first of all, we want to add phone number here because it seems like this will definitely help. And we do give the ability to create more content on this page. And maybe we can put the content on the bottom, and the call to action can be something like, call us if you prefer to speak over the phone. There could be maybe a video about the company to give someone more secure feeling of providing the information. We can also put a little banner of how secure the website is. By the way, if I'm going to put a phone number here, it is possible that the chart will show that there is even more abandonment happening on the page because people will be encouraged to not proceed on this page and call the number. But it's definitely worth a test. I mean, we can always just leave the number on top here, and then on the bottom here we can just say, if you prefer to speak over the phone, give us a call. Another thing we might want to do is make this button green and make this one darker green. You don't want to use red because red is a negative call to action. And I think that, again, every potential persona is different, so it's possible that that affects people not proceeding. There has to be some kind of a call to action here to get them past this stage. There's no reason for them not to go through this stage. They feel it's unnecessary or whatever the reason is. In a worst case scenario, if all else fails, I would just put a promotional code saying register now and you'll get 10% off. But if anything, we can always have a live chat here, and instead of encouraging people to speak over the phone, we could also say something like, click on the live chat if you have any questions or concerns. This way, if they do have a question, they'll click on it and ask and then proceed from this step on. So let me save this. So moving on, and by the way, every time you fix one of these issues, you need to test it by going back to it a week later and seeing if the trend is falling or increasing. We can look at window shopping. So window shopping, which is 106 individuals, this usually means they can't find what they're looking for. So if we go to details and say show us the window shoppers and not the band registrations, we can just get a quick sample of what, let me say country US, so we eliminate the internationals. So let's look at this one. So this one went to the product homepage, typed a keyword, found the product, added to the cart, and then eventually he left. So this is not really a window shopper. He did find what he was looking for. This one is typing in keywords. Looks like a lot of them are typing in keywords, searching for a specific vehicle. So this is a good thing because a lot of times you have way too large of a catalog, and we actually need to go and introduce search filters into them because the search filters are causing people not to find what they're looking for. In this particular case, it's easy, at least inside Shopping Cart Elite, to figure out what can be done to optimize the search. So once you come here and you go to custom searches, you can actually add different phrases that you feel customers might be looking for and then optimizing them to a specific landing page. So just to give you an example, I'm not going to actually do it. Let's say that someone goes and searches for the term heavy duty, and I'm going to actually just put it in here, heavy duty. If we search for the term heavy duty, we're going to end up with 4 products and 2 people that searched for that specific term. Now, if I type in heavy duty, I'm going to end up in the search result for the heavy duty, but I'm only seeing injectors. If I go to catalog, it's saying, do you want to see injectors or do you want to see controllers? So maybe you want to send people to this particular page when they type in heavy duty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, when somebody types in heavy duty, I want to redirect them to this URL. Now, when somebody types in heavy duty, they're going to end up on this particular page versus seeing those few products. Now, usually, if there is at least, I think, 4 searches inside Shopping Cart Elite, it's going to automatically suggest to you that, hey, there's people searching for these different keywords. But it looks like on this particular website, not a lot of people search for the same term more than once. Therefore, there's no recommendations in here. So going back to this section, it looks like people are searching for partial keywords. This is what I'm getting at least. And it's important that if that's what they're doing, then we probably should take an export, a copy of the export of the products, and add those part numbers into the search tags of the product. Let me just see if I could find a few more examples, because I do see a lot of people are searching for a specific vehicle, make, model, which is great because if they're not finding what they're looking for, it might just mean that you simply don't have the right product for what they need. But I don't see a lot of people searching for specific part numbers. So I guess maybe we don't have to do that today, but if we do start seeing people searching for, well, see, this one did search for it, 40101. Let me try to imitate what he did, 40101. Am I going to get to the product or not? Let's see. Yeah, I did get to the right product. So I guess we can just leave this alone. If you see a lot of people searching for things and not finding it, you want to imitate what they did and try to fix the issue by putting those particular search tags in that particular product, or introduce search filters if you have a lot of products. But in this case, I don't see an issue. And most people, when you have an issue being reported, it's not an independent issue. Sometimes it's window shopping and try to contact, which means that he was window shopping not because he couldn't find what he's looking for, but he's probably window shopping because he has questions about a specific product, and therefore he's kind of window shopping, but he did find the product, he just doesn't know if he should buy it or not. We're going to get to that, so let's go back to the overview, and I'm going to just ignore window shopping for a second because it's not a core problem. I think the core problem is the try to contact, and if we click on window shopping and try to contact, you can kind of see that the line is very close. There's a very big resemblance to people who are window shopping then try to contact right away. So why does somebody try to contact? And if you see, the line is also pretty stable on and off. A quick note on why the line would not be stable, that's usually because you have a problem with your marketing campaign, which will be in the next video for this store. If your marketing is buying the wrong kind of traffic and exhausting the budget before they hit the right kind of traffic, you'll see this kind of fluctuation, not only in your issues, but also in your orders. In this particular store's case also, there's a big fluctuation, because if we're going to go to engagement and click on orders, it goes on and off, while it's always supposed to be above the blue line. So without jumping back and forth, let's just go to the try to contact and how we can solve it. So obviously the first thing we can do to solve try to contact is the phone number. I'm actually surprised that the phone number is not here, because I could have swore it was here at one point, but it's not. You know, people press contact and they reach the individual. However, if you don't work during certain business hours, right? So if we're going to go to details and we're going to say, show me issues for people who try to contact you, at what hour of the day did they try to contact you? So if this particular store business hours is 8 to 5, and you're getting, I'm going to say, show me everybody who has excellent engagement, right? So these are actual prospects that we care about. So I'm going to just point out the ones that probably called when the business was closed already. So you could see 535, 544, 623. We see there's a lot of people trying to call when the business is closed. So two options, either extend your hours or answer your questions on the product page so they stopped calling you in the first place, or look into like an offshore live chat solution, or something needs to happen, because I do see people 7:36 p.m., 8:17, I guess that's fine. So it's very close to the business hours, and these are all out of 80 that are found. This could potentially be 10 to 20 lost sales. But what's even more important is, why are all of these people contacting you? On an e-commerce website, there's no reason for somebody to call you. Why would anybody call you? When I go shopping on Amazon, me personally, I don't call Amazon's customer support to ask questions about something. I just buy what I need. The product page on Amazon answers everything I need. I got my reviews there. There's Q&As there. There's pictures there. Everything is there. In this particular business's case, why are all these people calling? I'm sure they have the same question over and over again. And I'm sure the leadership thinks that it's a good thing that the phone is ringing off the hook. And maybe it is, because maybe that's a way for them to close the sale faster by getting the guy to call and ask the questions. They can kind of lure him in and close the sale. And if that's a strategy, then great, let's leave it alone. But if that's not the strategy, because the questions that are being asked are silly, that could easily be answered on the website, and is just wasting everybody's time plus killing sales, especially when the phone cannot be answered during those hours, something needs to be done about it. This is more of a business decision for that particular company. And adding a phone number here, that's great, and even having a live chat here, that's also great, but that's not the core issue. The core issue is, why are they calling? So my advice would be, start logging all the calls to try to figure out what kind of questions were being asked. And after each call, have a dedicated person that's going to get the details of the call, or even have all the calls recorded and then sent back to that individual person to analyze the call, extract the information that was asked, and address it in the website and in the product catalogs. So again, just to give you a real life example, if I'm going to click on this product and he asked, will it fit this particular situation? And if I say yes, it will, but it's not in the description here, well, guess what? I'm going to just go and put it in the description. There's a lot of things that could be improved in the sales copy, especially like the general idea that our products are quality, this is how we do it, this is what we, go into more detail, which could be posted on every product. If it's going to be the same sales copy, by the way, I would recommend to keep it an image versus making it actual text, because otherwise you're going to ruin your SEO if you're going to have too much duplicate content. Here's an example. A little snippet of text about the product, bullet points, like an image showing the details of the specific product. There's another website, I'm going to quickly find it, Cover Kings. So same idea. See a nice image, little lines pointing to the different areas. Made to order, high patterns. So just more pretty, more interactive, more about the company, more about the detail of how it's made, just more convincing copy. Like, it doesn't have to be a little paragraph. I mean, for some cases it works fine, but when your analytics shows you that you have 300 sales that you lost, and potentially because of window shopping plays a role with contact, because the questions were not answered. And if we go to sales copy, which sales copy plays the biggest role, like what I'm showing you right now, making prettier pictures and making prettier graphics and just making it all look very nice, this is all sales copy. If I go to any of these car covers, it's the same story. This is how we make it. This is ours. This is others. This is why it's better. Made in USA, so on and so on. And this is an image, right? So you drag it, it's an image. Image, right? So it's all one big image, and it could be reused throughout the whole site. Just make it one time and put it on every single product page, and that's it. And guess what happens then? Then we're going to completely eliminate this whole section. Maybe not eliminate it, but definitely decrease it, and definitely increase the orders. So all of a sudden, instead of closing 27 sales, that alone, this little sales copy thing alone, can get the numbers. Instead of this being 325, it's going to be 225. And instead of this being 27, it'll be 127. I mean, this could easily triple, quadruple the orders just by doing this one little graphic, and that's it. And to make this graphic, it needs to be a collaborative effort. So you cannot just say, hey, go make it and that's it. You have to have someone internally in the company that knows what they're doing with a product and describe the product properly, and then work with a designer to make it look beautiful. Definitely, this is one major issue, that the product page is just too blah, and that's why people are calling and sales are being lost here. Another thing I would recommend is to add videos. There's no reason why not to add a video. Same idea, one video for all your products. Talk about the company. How do you make these products? Why these are better than someone else? About your customers, about how you care about quality. Yes, it's going to take some time to make it, but we're talking about 100 additional sales per month. That's 1,200 sales per year just by making the graphics and the video. And if we do the math, if each product is $300, right? $300 at 1,200 additional sales, like we're talking about almost $500,000 in sales by making a video and some images. That's going to maybe cost the total sum of $2,000-$3,000 altogether once everything is said and done, in exchange for $500,000 of new orders. I think it's worth it. So this would be addressed. And again, this is a snapshot of what we have now. Once we fix the registration page, once we fix the phone number and put more sales copy and do all the optimizations, we can then review this again next month to see what happened. Did the trend go down or up or stay the same? And then keep optimizing. It's baby steps and it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight, even though the increase in sales is pretty immediate as soon as you put something into action. Other issues, it's only 11, I'm not going to bother with them. Obviously, you have abandoned cart, very stable. Need to figure out what's going on. Why is the cart being abandoned? This is all addressed in the do-it-yourself articles on T. But just to give you an example of an abandoned issue, first of all, it depends on what step was the cart abandoned. Because if it was abandoned on, let's say, let's just take a look at this. Added to cart. And by the way, this is actually incorrect. The difference between abandoned cart and abandoned checkout is when they actually abandon the part where they put in their credit card number and shipping address and so on. Abandoned cart means they actually left on the page where the shopping cart itself is. So in other words, when I press add to cart, this is the page where they would leave, so they wouldn't proceed. Usually, this happens when you have an estimator here. Why? Because they estimate what they need, they see that the shipping is there, and then they leave. Now, you can't beat free shipping. I mean, Amazon kind of embedded that in everybody's head, so free shipping is free shipping. So my advice is make the shipping free, put a call to action saying free shipping for a limited time only right now if you proceed, and see if that number goes down. The actual checkout abandonment is very small. It's only 11 people out of all of them. Probably not really a problem. It looks like they added to cart, they decided to check out, and for whatever reason, they didn't want to do it. It could also be related to shipping also, because just, maybe they didn't estimate it, and then they left on step 2, and then they realize how much shipping is. So if you don't want to do free shipping, my advice would be to eliminate the estimator. And what's going to end up happening is, instead of saying you had 111 people leave you on the shopping cart, it's going to be transferred to, hey, 111 people left you on the checkout. Now, if your sales were very healthy, I would say let's create an abandoned recovery email campaign to try to recover those sales. But in reality, it's not healthy, and I think that the shipping is playing a big role in some of these sales, and it's definitely worth to see if a discount can be offered, ultimately giving them free shipping if they place an order for $300 and up, and seeing if this number goes down. So the advice here would be try to free shipping and see if that will work out. If free shipping is not an option, then let's at least eliminate the estimator to confirm that the shipping is the problem. And let's see if the issue will transition from the cart to checkout, and then that will verify that we have a problem. If you notice, by the way, see it says 4 individuals abandoned step 2 of the checkout, which is the shipping. So my gut feeling says that the shipping is causing a lot of these abandonments to happen. So to conclude this video, the goal is to get all of these issues trending down, not up. And once all of this has been optimized, I'm going to make another review on this same website, and we'll see how the trend went down from the previous month, and we'll also see if the sales increased because of it. So my prediction will be that they will increase, and once everything is in place and 30 days has passed, we'll reevaluate it and see what happens.